if you're not growing, when you're just stagnant, you're just reheating the same soup forever. You're just doing the same things. I'm not the same person I was when I came in this game.
Welcome to Double XL's Talk It Up, powered by DistroKid. For Double XL, I'm Joey Etch. And today we are here with none other than G-Eazy. How you living today, man?
What's up with it? Man, it's a beautiful day in the Lower East Side, man. I'm in New York chilling.
So congrats on dropping Helium.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
It's been a few weeks removed from release day.
Mm-hmm.
What's the temperature been like for that project?
Man, it feels great, bro. Just to be back in like in a flow, in a cycle, and like in a momentum, with motion. Feeling like making stuff and putting it out, man. At the end of the day, we're artists and we got things to say, we got things to get off our chest, we got this is our livelihood, and just to be able to be in this game this long and make music and release music and touch the fans with their fans.
Yeah. You described Helium as a celebration of highs and lows, right? And how you said fleeting those moments can be, like a balloon, right?
Yeah.
Speak a little bit more on how that pertains to you and the album, and what sort of things that drove you to put that mentality behind the project.
Well, man, I mean, people come and go in your life, and I've experienced a whole lot of change over the last few years, between leaving LA, leaving California, moving to New York, people coming and going in my life. The biggest one being losing my mom. And it just changes in my career and everything. And just, life is so precious and so short, man. So hold it while it's here. But it's essentially that, man.
For sure. And that ends up being condolences on your mother, by the way. Sorry to hear
Thank
that.
you, brother.
But that sort of drives the best sort of art, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Unfortunately in some instances, but that sort of self-reflection is super dope, especially in hip hop, where was too often it lacks some of that.
Yeah. But I mean, art is art. And I think one of the most important and important parts of art is just telling the truth and like, being real with your truths and your life's experiences. You know what I'm talking about?
So on the Dream About Me track, you rhyme a lot about basically maybe a tendency to be, toxic in relationships, things like that. Maybe even pushing some people away. And there's some of that in other parts of Helium too, but it is a very introspective look, right? How do you go about looking inside yourself in those moments and being able to address certain qualities about yourself?
Well, I think, I mean, to the point I was just saying is like, you got to be truthful, and sometimes it's like truth is brutal. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes, man, it's sometimes it can be uncomfortable or it's not. But again, that's another factor in part of art. It's like, and I've not had the best history all the time with some relationships, and if I'm being honest, that's kind of like me taking ownership in some situations. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. Shout out to you for that and being honest with yourself, and of course then sharing it with the world.
Yeah.
Of that. Is there ever an issue with that you have with putting your emotions into your songs and your thoughts about yourself?
Yeah, man. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like that's you, being naked in front of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like you putting yourself out there, you revealing that, and sharing it with the world, man. And sometimes it's therapeutic. You get me? Like sometimes it's like it helps to to just get some stuff out, to say it, whether that's for everyone. But then the thing about that is you go to therapy and it's confidential and it's you and one person. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in the studio, as at least the engineer, if not, producer or anybody in the room with me. So it's like, and then if you put the music out, then you're doing therapy in front of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things that don't need to be shared with the world. Sometimes I just got to make it for myself. There's a couple records that that didn't get to be released on Helium that were a little deeper that's because of sample clearances and stuff. But and I wanted those to be out, but maybe now looking back in retrospect, because those records are maybe just for me.
Okay, that's respectable too, by all means.
Mhm.
By all means. Now, another track that really stood out to me was After Dark, right? And it's all about
I
fandom.
figured you were going there. I figured you were going there.
The fandom, the connection you have with your fans
Mhm.
who are, so loyal to you. And when you're putting a track like that together, does that loyalty feel like a full circle moment for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I it's an interesting thing, man, because that song, that's about the weight, the responsibility that comes with, that fandom, that level of like, but how sometimes, obviously not all the time, but it can flirt with idolatry or obsession, and and that you know that becomes a weight if you look at it that way,
Mm,
and you know you kind of like the song is about wrestling with the weight of the world, and like damn you know they hold me on this pedestal. I gotta always live up to this, you know, but also at the same time that means the world to me that people love and appreciate what I do. Um, but that's also in a way, a weird way you think about it. That's kind of like it can lean a bit like it could just be a heavy weight and pressure. But then at the end of the day, you like to be loved, so like we all do. So when people, so what if one day, you had a fan and they just weren't a fan anymore?
mm,
You'd be like, or say you're in a relationship with somebody and they're in love with you, and then suddenly they fall out of love. They just don't like you anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm-hmm.
that feeling of that's the highs and lows of like, when something's taken away from you, you know, it's a part of life. But I think we have a tendency sometimes to assume that it's our fault. It's like, well, what did I do wrong? Sometimes people just outgrow certain situations, or move on for whatever, you know.
Sure. And in maintaining that sort of connection, how how would you what advice would you have for an artist who needs to understand that they need to grow and mature with that audience that they've already captured?
Um, I mean, that's life in general. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not growing, then you're just stagnant. You're just reheating the same soup forever. You're just doing the same things. I'm not the same person I was when I came in this game. Like, I fell in love with music when I was 13. I got signed when I was, I think like 24.
Right.
Um, so it's like at my age now, um, you don't, you shouldn't be the same person. And say a fan who fell in love with my music 12 years ago when they were, say 16, they're 28 now. They're a whole different person, man. And it's like people move on, and they grow up, or or they just evolve and change, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about some of the tracks that might have ended up, for you personally and didn't come out, by hook or by crook. But do you have a song that did come out on Helium that maybe you favor more than any of the others?
Man, it's a song called Midnight in Paris
Yeah.
that
Okay.
I was performing it on tour, and we just had an issue with the sample clearance. But yeah, man, that song, it felt like, yo, this is a smash. This is everything. And it sucks, man, when you run into those walls.
Mm,
Um, because it's when it's like a legal thing about clearances. What people don't understand is there's no way around that. It is what it is.
yeah, for
You
sure.
can't you can't force the hand, because it's like that's the way the business is structured. If it's somebody owns the copyright or wrote the song, or that the sample that he's the part of, and the song's not the same without the sample, then it's like, and they say no, it's just like no.
Yeah. Now, in that instance, like with you being so passionate about the track, is that something that you're gonna go back and work for, try and make it right for whatever the
Yeah,
issue was? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. By hook or by crook, it's gonna get took.
Dope. That's what's up. That
Mm.
so I'll be looking forward to the deluxe with the Paris track on there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's called Midnight in Paris.
Midnight in Paris. Word.
Mm.
Yo, so you mentioned in an interview with Bootleg Kev, shout out to Kev for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, shout out Kev, man. That's my guy for a long, 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 many moons,
Yeah,
many years.
yeah. Well, you were talking about the impact of me, myself, and I. And at
Hmm.
one point, you said this stuck out to me. You said you enjoy being slightly misunderstood.
Mm.
What did you mean by that? Because it's a real interesting statement.
I just, I think I can't remember exactly what I meant when I said that, but I would say, you know, I'm unusual. I'm unique. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm different. There's not really another me on the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I even have a brother who's born one day apart from me, and it's 3 years, but like literally we're Gemini twins, and even he and I, the closest blood, DNA I have on this planet is we're opposite people in a
sure.
lot of ways. You know what I mean? So like, um, I think once you like kind of accept in your life and embrace your individuality, which is something that sometimes can take some time and growing up to fully embrace and accept. But once I accept that, it's like they're never gonna get me. So stop trying. You can't make everybody happy. It's just a part of what comes with it.
More part of that growth, right?
Hmm.
Word. Word to that for sure. Um, so, right before the album dropped, you were out on the Helium Tour across the country, right? How was the run?
Oh my God, it was incredible, dude. It was incredible. Like pretty much everything sold out. It was packed. It was like the energy from the fans. You
Yeah,
know, getting to play the classics, like taking them back to these things happen and when it's dark out. Performing a lot of those songs for the first time in like 6, 7 plus years. Just getting back to the basics.
yeah.
And
That's
now that you know what I mean, like pandemic just messed everything up so bad, and then so it's really just the touring industry is different now, and the economy is that so it's like just getting back on the road has been tough for a lot of artists. So I'm just super 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 appreciative of the fans for pulling up and showing out for me, and what I'm saying, and um,
yeah.
getting that love every night on stage, man, is nothing like it. You know what I mean? That's the highest high, dude. You're up there in front of thousands of people, and they're all in sync. They're all in a flow. Like these are all strangers packed into a room, and the one commonality they all share is an appreciation of your music. That's the best feeling. You know what I mean? Like, and I just perform my heart out, man. That's what I do. I love touring.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. And I noticed, and you mentioned it earlier, that you were able to preview a lot of the album during the tour, right? Before the
Mhm.
project dropped. So, you know, do you like taking that almost reverse approach, to
Uh,
shop some of the
yeah,
records and things like that?
yeah. I mean, it's it's you get to see you're playing new music that's not out for them, so you gotta get to see a reaction firsthand. Like, oh, this one's really going off. I got a feeling that this could be a one of those ones.
Yep.
Like, and and then you know the other hand is when you go to a show, you want to hear the songs that you want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I go see my favorite artist, I want to hear them play my favorite songs again.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it's all a balance for the whole game.
Yeah. Dope. Dope. So, like, do those reactions that you get from the fans from things like that, like, affect the outcome of the project ever, or how you feel about the project before it dropped? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's this and no. I mean, I I studied Steve Jobs. I read his book,
Okay.
like you know what I mean, in terms of and he would say like at Apple when he was there, it's like he didn't do market research because the market didn't know what they wanted until he told them what they want and
Mm,
what you know what I mean. So you got to it's like a balance of like paying attention to your audience and your market, but also at the same time trusting in yourself and your belief in your ideas and your creativity to be like, now I'm standing on this. This is the album I want to put out. So it's just a balance of both, man. Knowing where and when to compromise and like and what to pay attention to.
that's what's up.
That's it.
I like that. Yeah. So then, even before that, obviously, for years, you've had all types of sold out shows in Europe. And then, this summer, you're headed overseas again, Romania, Switzerland, that sort of thing. What's the energy
Hmm.
like from those international crowds? Is it different?
It is. It is. I think just I mean, culturally, everywhere is different
Of
from
course.
everywhere. You know what I mean? No two
Mm-hmm.
cities are exactly the same everywhere. But specifically, man, I mean, some of those crowds over there is insane, energy wise. And I think also some of it has to do with like they know how far we've traveled to come do this show, how far away from home we are. So I think it's a bit more like appreciated in a sense.
Okay. Got
In a
that.
way.
Got that for sure. Now you also got the Las Vegas residency going now too,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
as if you got nothing else going on. But that is super that is super dope, right? It's something
Hmm.
that hip hop has embraced more than ever recently. And
Yeah.
what's the residency been like for you?
Oh, incredible. I mean, Las Vegas is, people come to Las Vegas for a while they come to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And, so you got people there, a lot of them traveling, you know, um, to Las Vegas for an experience like that. So everybody's just going in with the mentality of like, we're here to have fun, we're here to turn up, we're here to party, we're here to, you know, to forget our problems, to escape, to just, to let loose, man. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah, that's what's up. Now, outside of the bag, obviously, how does something like a
mhm.
Las Vegas residency benefit a successful touring act like yourself, who's already sort of been out there and that's your thing, like you said?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, man, like, just the I'd say the not the pedestal, but like the level they put you on it in terms of
Mm,
promotion and and then being at the win at that, you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's just huge for your career in general, man. It lifts everything up and high tides rise all ships. So it's like, this it helps lift up your whole like presence in general. I think.
Yeah, that's what's up. And, is it difficult for you, or I would assume it could go either way with running it back at a spot like that to win,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but at the same time, it's like it's routine. It's you lock in.
Mm-hmm.
You just lock in, man. And it's like at the end of the day, man, like everybody has jobs, or you know, people with jobs. But like a job is a job.
Mm-hmm.
Is it difficult to show up to work every single day in the same spot?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, it's like people go work at CVS and you gotta be on every day. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
that's a job. That's like
Yeah.
that's work.
Yeah. For sure.
And and I respect that and see that and think about that. And it's like, who am I to complain about like, you know, running the back on stage or and at a residency at the Win when it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
That's
You
a
know what I'm saying?
fair
Like,
point. Fair point.
yeah, I get to do this incredible job, man, and I'm incredibly appreciative
That's fire.
and grateful for it.
That's fire. So, you've been in the game for a minute now. You've seen sounds and styles come and go. But what do you think of the current state of the hip hop game?
Man, I just think it's a wide open space.
Mm,
It's like we don't just have 25 slots on radio,
right.
or whatever it be to get played. You know what I mean? It's if you find your audience, man, the game is wider than ever. There's space for everything. So it's like, man, yeah.
Yeah, that's a dope way to be. And it goes back to that the artistry conversation you had. You're a lot
Hmm.
more wide open with that kind of situation.
Hmm.
That's what's up. So, but who are you rocking with most lately as far as artists go? Anyone in the space that catches your ear?
Man, I love
Absolutely.
Ray Vaughn's project, man. Shouts out him.
Ooh, shout out Ray Vaughn.
Hmm.
The good, the bad, the dollar menu.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope for sure. What's next for
Yeah,
you?
and of course, man, shouts out to Russell. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's my guy. He did some dates on the tour with me. Um, and just continues to just not let his foot off the gas. And I love to see it, man. Shouts out to Russell.
Word, word. So, what's next for you and your music?
Man, just getting right back to it. That's what we did with Helium. Was like, put out the project before a free show and just got right
Mm-hmm.
back in the studio.
Yeah.
You just go, man. I mean, right now I'm gonna give myself like a little window of time to just like, you earned it. You toured for 6 months, man. Just go live some life.
For
You
sure.
know, just enjoy. Have a little bit of a summer. Man, I got some time off in New York right now. I'm just like just soaking up, inspiration and vibes.
That's what's good, man. Absolutely. So, you were in that All Souls movie not too long ago. Is an
Hmm.
acting career something that you're looking to pursue a little longer?
Oh yeah, 1,000%, man, 1,000%. I love film,
Okay.
in general, man, and I love the idea of acting. Um, but it's like anything else that you want to do at a high level, you get what you give. So you got to be realistic. Like, are you willing to do acting lessons and coaching and screen tests and auditions? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's like that shit is work. So and you can only give, what you have the time and capacity to fully give. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So everything is just like a management of, showing up and and being on point.
Is there anything else?
Oh, and shouts out, man, that movie that I did also, my co-star, Mikey Madison.
Yeah.
I just want to, send flowers and shouts out to her for winning Best Actress at the Academy Awards for Nora.
Yeah. That movie was crazy good.
I get to say I worked with an Academy Award winner, man, but nah, she's an incredible talent, and it was dope and inspiring being on set with her. I learned a lot for sure.
That's fire. So now that you've gotten your feet wet in that a little bit, and you're also a true pro in one game, maybe transitioning over to another. What's something that you would give, like advice that you would give a rapper who's like, all right, I've been in this game for a minute, I want to go do something else, or like in acting, or get into a different space entirely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say follow your heart.
Mm.
Like if your heart is in, fashion or designing clothes, like I love movies. I really, really love movies. And the art of acting. So it's like that's me following my heart. If you love, cooking or something,
Yeah.
or making sandwiches or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? Like follow that. Like, because life can be really, really vibrant and beautiful when you get this rare opportunity to actually do what you love.
Absolutely.
So just follow what it is that you love.
Amen to that. Pretty good note
Hmm.
to end on, unless anything else is
Yeah, yeah.
popping headed into the summer.
Nah, man, just enjoying being outside.
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
Mhm.
Well, this has been very dope, man. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you
yeah.
taking the time.
What's up, brother?
Best of luck with everything for the rest of the year.
Yes, sir.
Yo, check for G-Eazy's Helium album out on all platforms. Check for Young Gerald's Vegas residency and the tour dates
Uh-huh.
too.
We winning at the win, baby. Excess.
We're Joey Edge for Double XL and G-Eazy. Hit that subscribe
Yes,
button.
sir.